fellow scientist at the lab, Chris Fiedler, who passed away recently, he said, Fred, the veil of culpability spread too far. You got a tiger by the tail. It's not going to let you go. Because everybody up the chain knew what was happening in the lab. Goodness gracious. They all knew all the way up the chain. And so, no, I got along fine with the guys I was working with.
Okay, now, did you ever run across any guys that were like really rogue agents, like, stealing evidence and, shaking down, taking bribes, anything like that?
You say, did I see that sort of thing?
Yeah.
No, sir. No, there was, travel vouchers, time and attendance sheets, minor kind of, but whatever, you're still a damn thief. Excuse me, you're still a thief, okay?
Yeah.
But shaking people down, no, that's I remember as a new agent, I was in Houston and I went into a house with a training agent, and we were looking for this couple's son, and they were just folks. And they sat there on their sofa. It was a little ranchette. I was brand new, and they sat there on their sofa, and they were crying, and I was sitting there with them, and just 35 years old myself, and I was trying to comfort them. And the other agent went through the house looking for the son, and they gave him permission, and he didn't come back after a while. And I went in, and he had tossed the whole house. I mean, he pulled stuff out of drawers. He'd gone and thrown stuff out of that. And I said, man, you're looking for a human being. There's no human being in the drawer. Hey, they gave me permission to search. I'm looking. Mm-hmm. And I went, wow. Wow. But they weren't shaking people down. It was just very, very disappointing. These are human beings that we're dealing with. But as a regular thing, no, I didn't see that.
What about like wiretaps without warrants and stuff like that?
No. I had a friend that came upon warrantless wiretap and tried to tell a judge about it, and he was an FBI agent. And when the judge blurted it out about 3 years later, they ran him out of the bureau for doing that. But I didn't see warrantless wiretap. That wasn't. I was disappointed maybe by what you might consider small stuff. Stealing money from your travel voucher. Well, I know I keep mentioning that, but it's still stealing.
Yeah, well, and lying in court, I don't consider that the small stuff at all.
Oh, well, that's right. Testifying beyond your expertise, you don't know what you're talking about. And you're talking about. There was one gentleman that testified.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%, APR 4.08%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate subject to change. Pay 1.25% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
And now, a thought from Geico Motorcycle.
It took 15 minutes to take a spirit animal quiz online.
Please be the cheetah. Please be the cheetah.
And learn your animal isn't the cheetah, but the far less appealing blobfish.
Oh, come on.
To add insult to injury, you could have used those 15 blobfish minutes to switch your motorcycle insurance to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on motorcycle insurance.
With a background in social sciences, testified aeronautical engineering, aircraft structural analysis, forensic pathology, fire and arson investigation analysis, chemical analysis, and metallurgy. And he had no background in any of those.
Really?
Forensic pathology, no background in any of those. When the inspector general asked him, well, where'd you get your expertise? Let's try forensic pathology. He said, well, I talked to a pathologist at the crime scene. Therefore, I know more than the normal person on the jury. Wow. And he got all that wrong too. So that that slanting of the truth. And it was, at the time, what I saw, that was a rogue unit. They were people, they were not scientists. They were brought in as fixers. That was how I felt about them. If you weren't getting the right answer out of the lab, send these guys that don't know what they're talking about, but will do what the bosses want them to. And the blame, the responsibility for what happened at the FBI crime lab went all the way to the management. It went to the management, allowing blatant, open, vulgar, inappropriate actions to continue unabated. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the news lately, but the FBI admitted that 26 of 28 examiners doing hair analyses testified inappropriately for 30 years in 95% of their testimonies. Wow. That's 26 of 28 guys, and they weren't all there at the same time. And now they're having to try and figure out how to fix that. But they had, lead analysis that they had no scientific basis for the lead analysis. And yet they were out there testifying to some horrendous stuff that was outlandish.
And so do you think it's worse today, or has it gotten better?
Oh, that laboratory is light years ahead where it was before.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so proud of where they are. We're going to find fault with them. We're going to find fault with any human enterprise. But at this point, they're bent over backwards to validate their protocols. That means you have a method that you use to determine the answer to a question. You have to know if the method works, and they're bending over backwards to do that. I don't think they've quite got there, but, I'm not the wall. I'm just a brick in the wall. But the thing that they're lacking right now is that they should be putting their protocols on the internet. What they're doing is not new science. It's not secret science. It's not, there wouldn't be any national security issues about it, Just here it is. Here's what you've done. This is what the state I'm in, North Carolina, should be used as a national model as far as I'm concerned. You can go to their Department of Justice website, bring up all the protocols we're using in that lab. We can interact with a lab and say we think there are issues here. If they agree, or we can have scientific discussions, it's the way it ought to be. Put it out there. This is science. It's sort of, you might look at the FBI like, oh my goodness, we're using a gun, but we don't anybody know how we use it. Okay, why not? It's a weapon. It's the things that they're doing, the tools they're using in the lab should be understood. If you're going to find an answer, we should be allowed to look at what you're doing, because it's not them. They're not the nation. We are the nation, and we should be allowed to determine whether we're being defended or not, whether we are being protected or not. But that is a weakness they've got. But I think that ultimately they're going to realize they're not doing a bad job. Put it out there. Let the world see what you're doing. And it's not going to make any difference for terrorism or bank robbers or something like that. I mean, you can't even get FBI managers to understand what's going on in their lab, much less terrorists.
Or defense attorney, yeah. Okay. Well, we better take a commercial. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it better? Yes, it is better.
Okay, we better take a commercial break. We're here with Dr. Fred Whitehust, former FBI. He's a whistleblower, worked on some of the biggest cases out there, Oklahoma City bombing, TWA 800, O.J. Simpson case, Waco, and became a whistleblower, sued the FBI, and collected, I believe, it was $1.5 million.
$1.25 million. $1.25 million.
A quarter here, quarter there. It all works out. Okay, we'll be back right after this message with more of Dr. Fred Whitehust.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
Hey, check out our brand new sponsor, Dynamic Solutions 2. That's the number 2. They offer a life-changing, dynamic financial solution. The finest in fast, professional, affordable credit repair. Is your credit in bad shape? Do you need a new car? Ready to buy a new house? You want to rent an apartment? Are you going to apply for a job? Any one of these activities, they're going to ask for a credit report and then check out your credit score. Let Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit remarks. They have affordable monthly prices. They accept Visa, MasterCard, PayPal options available. You go to www.dynamicsolutions, that's the number 2.com, or call 424-888-2820. 424-888-2820. Now, if you enter promo code ED or you mention Ed Opperman, you get a 10% discount. How's that? You get a free consultation, all negative items removed, get back in positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, life-changing dynamic financial solutions. 424-888-2820. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you. You get a 10% discount.
Hey, you, podcast listener. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. Take the blue pill. You wake up in your bed and go back to listening to mundane podcasts that won't challenge your religious beliefs and your so-called truths about reality, the universe, and consciousness. Take the red pill. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast, hosted by Mark Anthony Peterson, and he will show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Event Horizon takes a walk into the paranormal with a splash of conspiracy. It's the podcast that would be born if David Icke and the X-Files had a baby. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast by Mark Anthony Peterson on Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Stitcher, or any of your other favorite podcast platforms. Remember, all we are offering is the truth, nothing more.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Welcome back to the Opperman Report. I am your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. Before we get back to our guest, Dr. Fred Whitehust, the FBI whistleblower, who has been involved in everything from OKC to TWA 800, the OJ trial, and Waco. I want to remind you guys about the good folks over at MichiganMushrooms.net. Now, have you heard of these chaga mushrooms? It's a mushroom that grows up way in the northern forests that Native Americans and Russians have been using for hundreds of years. Now, it's not the kind of mushroom that you eat, but you make a tea with it, and it's loaded with polysaccharides and unique phytochemicals, and it's actually pretty delicious, too, is what they tell me. Now, you wouldn't guess you were drinking mushroom tea. The folks over at MichiganMushrooms.net have been harvesting chaga for years, and they've built a great reputation for having the best quality mushrooms for the best prices. Don't forget, these mushrooms, they make a great Christmas gift because it's not the kind of mushrooms you'd buy in a store. They're really hard. It's hard as a rock, this chaga stuff. They send it over to you like in a big chunk and you make a tea out of it. So it's a really unique kind of gift that you can give at Christmas time. So check out their Facebook page at Michigan Mushrooms LLC or MichiganMushrooms.net if you want to place an order tonight. But tonight we have with us Dr. Fred Whitehust. Dr. Whitehust, have you ever tried chaga mushroom tea?
Nope, I'm afraid I haven't.
Let's see if I can get some over there to you, okay? Let's see what I can do. I know the guys that own the place. Okay, let's see if you guys are set. Now, tell us about some of these. What did you have to do with the OJ case?
Well, that was a mess. I was right in the middle of writing. I wrote 237 letters to the U.S. Department of Justice Inspector General over a 5-year period of time. And right in the middle of that, I was down at Quantico at the research facility, and I was working on forensic pain analysis. And I went out to stand while the instrument was working, and 3 guys came up to me, and they were, mid-level scientific managers and agents. And they were commenting that a fellow testifying in the case